So our story kicks off on a Monday, July 17th, 2006. A company that sells scientific supplies, called United Nuclear, gets a few phone calls that are, well, they're anything but normal.
What's really unnerving here is how persistent this guy was. The first call comes in at 10 a.m. from a totally blocked number. The guy on the line refuses to give his name, but then he calls back 2 more times that same day. He was told to call back on the 21st to get pricing info, but he never did. He just vanished.
And this was his shopping list. He was asking for a few pounds of each of these 7 chemicals. Now, to you and me, this probably just looks like a bunch of scientific jargon. But to a chemist, and more importantly to the FBI, it's a recipe. These are all known ingredients for making sarin, one of the deadliest nerve agents out there. The employees at United Nuclear, they knew exactly what this meant. They didn't just dismiss it, they hung up the phone and then they picked it right back up and made a call of their own to the FBI. And that set a very serious federal response in motion. And man, you can see just how fast the official machinery kicked into gear. The call goes to the local field office in Albuquerque, and from there it gets escalated immediately to the Weapons of Mass Destruction Unit. Once the FBI's own lab confirmed the threat was credible, boom. Case file 279B AQ 6021 was born. Their mission? Find the unsub, the unknown subject. So for a few weeks, nothing. The case goes totally cold. The caller who was supposed to phone back on July 21st is a no-show. And then, out of nowhere, the mystery doesn't just call back, it shows up on the company's doorstep. Literally. On Sunday, August 13th, the man just appears in person. And this is where it gets really weird. United Nuclear's physical address wasn't public. They only used a P.O. box. So this person had to do some serious digging to find their super remote, unlisted location way out in the mountains. You start to see this really clear pattern of evasion taking shape, right? On the phone, it's a blocked number, no name. In person, he somehow finds an unlisted address, parks his car what they called an unnecessary distance away, and as you'll see, he's driving a completely untraceable vehicle. And get this detail from the FBI report. The owner described the car as an older, rusty model with no license plates, not on the front, not on the back. This wasn't some casual inquiry. This was somebody actively trying to be a ghost at every single turn. Okay, so as we're trying to put all these pieces together, we have to talk about the document itself. Because in a case like this, what you can't see is honestly just as important as what you can. The file is just covered in these black bars, redactions. I mean, the numbers themselves tell a story. The FBI looked at 517 pages for this case file, but they only released 119 of them to the public. That means almost 400 pages of this investigation are still considered way too sensitive for anyone like us to see. And you know, they can't just toss pages out. They have to account for every single missing one. This is what they call a deleted page information sheet. It lists all the pages they held back and gives a reason why using these specific exemption codes. In this case, 315 pages were completely taken out. So what are these codes actually hiding? Well, the most common one you'll see is B7C, and it's all about personal privacy. They use it to black out names, addresses, anything that could identify witnesses, agents, or even the suspect. It's meant to protect people, for sure, but it also makes solving the mystery from the outside, well, pretty much impossible. All right, so let's recap. We've got this anonymous guy trying to buy nerve gas components, a super secret visit, and a heavily blacked out FBI file. But the final and maybe biggest twist in the story isn't about the caller at all. It's about the company he decided to call. Yeah, United Nuclear was founded by this guy, Bob Lazar. And if that name rings a bell, it's because Lazar became world famous back in the late 80s, claiming he was a scientist who worked on reverse engineering alien tech at a secret base near Area 51 called S4. So yeah, not exactly your typical chemical supply company. And the company's whole vibe really reflects its founder. Lazar also ran this massive fireworks festival called Desert Blast. And according to the FBI file, our mystery caller actually brought up the company's past troubles with the law over selling fireworks. He seemed to think that United Nuclear was a place that might be sympathetic, a place that operates outside the system. And this right here is the ultimate irony of the whole story. This is a direct quote from the United Nuclear website, something they proudly advertised. It's an explicit promise of total privacy, a promise that they will never cooperate with the government. And yet, when faced with a real threat, with a call about sarin gas, they were the very first ones to call the FBI. So after all that, after the calls, the secret visit, the full-scale federal investigation, guess how many suspects were identified in the 119 pages that were released? A big fat zero. The file gives us zero evidence that the mysterious UNSB was ever found. Which just leaves us with this huge, final, unanswered question. Was this a genuine terrorist plotting a real attack, or was it just some fringe experimenter? Someone drawn to the one company whose anti-government reputation and promise of secrecy made them seem like the perfect, untraceable supplier. The truth is, we may never